I think there are definitely some challenges that are common to large urban districts, but every place is unique, and Tulsa has both its own set of challenges that are unique to Tulsa, unique to Oklahoma, but it also has its special gifts that are unique as well. I think that when I have watched the education world in Oklahoma from afar, I think that there's definitely a funding issue that needs to be addressed in our state to invest in our teachers and in our schools for our students and families. That's something that I've watched. I think that's related to the issue of a teacher shortage, teacher morale. I've seen, it's been hard for me to watch from afar, actually, because I studied education at OU. I have a lot of friends who are teachers in Oklahoma, and you know, through social media over the years, just seeing what a really difficult time they've had, and that's been hard to watch. You know, one of the things that I am excited to be a part of is making sure that Tulsa is the most desirable place to teach, so that our great teachers who are here want to stay, want to be a part of this team, because we're doing amazing and exciting work, and they have a voice and a big role in it. And also, in doing so, we're going to attract teachers who are going to want to choose to come to Tulsa because it's a special place to teach. Well, philanthropy should not be used to fund the basics. I mean, we ought to be funding our schools, the basics of our schools, through our public system. I think philanthropy is there to help us supplement and to help us innovate. And we ought to not be having those generous individuals and organizations and companies telling us what needs to be done, but rather putting our plans in place and then seeking out those who are interested in investing their resources in that work. So we need to make sure that that Oklahomans, that Tulsans are staying in the driver's seat of the plans that we're putting in place for the schools. You know, I've definitely taken a look at student achievement and at graduation, attendance, you know, all those pieces of information that I have been able to get my hands on. But I have a lot of questions about those data, because one of the things that all of us as educators, but also just as community members, what we should always remember about data is that we don't use it to draw conclusions immediately. You use it to ask better questions. And so in reviewing all of that information, I certainly have some questions. I have some questions about student achievement. I want to know what's been happening with student achievement when I've seen some dips in performance. There's probably more to that story, and I need to understand that better before I draw any conclusions. I think it's been a concern in a lot of different places. It certainly was a concern in Rhode Island. In Rhode Island, I put a task force in place. We're calling it the Assessment Project, to take a look at what's happening in the different districts in our state, to understand where that testing was happening, where too much was happening, where maybe some folks were doing it just right, and understanding the decisions that they made so that others could follow along. And there's no doubt in my mind, based on what I've heard from the community just already, that we need to take a look at that here. I think that tests are important. They are important. All of us took them when we were growing up. They gave us good information about how we were doing. They play a role, but they're only one piece of information, and we need to make sure that our time is focused on instruction, and that our teachers are using assessments that they're implementing in order to get information to improve instruction. So I definitely want to hear from our teachers about that, talk to parents about it, and then take a look myself at what tools we're using, and if we need to make some adjustments, I'll be prepared to do that.